In today's video, we're going to talk about types of business activities. First of all, let us know what do we mean by the word business. As discussed in the previous video, business refers to an economic activity which is basically dealing with buying and selling of goods and services with the primary motive of earning profit. Now, when we talk about business activities are of two types, that is industry and commerce. Today, we are going to talk about industry at length and its types. Industry, the sector where raw material gets converted into useful products, is called industry. Activities related to production and processing as well as activities related to rearing and reproduction of animals and other living species are all included in the industry. The purpose of industry is to create form utility by converting the raw material into useful form of finished products. Children, if you remember, we discussed form utility when we discussed about business at length. Form utility is basically converting the raw material into finished products. For example, converting the cotton into cotton cloth. This is creating a form utility which is part and parcel of the business. An industry may produce consumer goods or capital goods. Goods which are directly useful to the consumers are called as consumer goods. For example, bread, butter, etc. are useful to the consumers. So they are termed as the consumer goods. Whereas capital goods are the goods which are used further in the production process to make useful products such as machinery, cement, etc. They are part of the capital goods. Industry means the production of products with the help of human beings and other resources. It involves the use, the application of men, machinery, material and money. So we can say industry is that part of the business which produces want satisfying goods, that is the goods which can satisfy the wants of the people. So we can say that industry is concerned with the process of extraction, multiplication, processing, conversion, fabrication and construction of products. Industry is further divided into three categories. The broad categories are primary industry, secondary industry and tertiary industry. Now let us discuss about the primary industry first. Primary industry is further divided into genetic industry and extractive industry. Primary industry is also known as extractive industries. It includes activities connected with the production of wealth directly from the natural resources such as water, air and land. Primary industries include activities like extraction and processing of natural resources, etc. These primary industries provide raw material for the secondary industries. Now, let us discuss the different types of primary industry. First one is genetic industry. The genetic word is derived from the word genetics, which refers to the study of heredity. So, genetic industries are all those industries which are engaged in the reproduction or multiplication of species of plants and animals to earn profit from their sale. These industries are involved in activities of rearing, breeding of living organisms such as birds, plants, animals. For example, rearing of cattle for milk, animal husbandry, plants nurseries, etc. Now let us discuss what do we mean by extractive industries. These industries extract or draw out products from natural resources. Raw material that are mostly products of the soil are basic supply of extractive industries. So we can say these industries are engaged in the extraction of useful material from beneath the surface of the earth and sea. These industries use the products gifted to us by nature. These industries are dependent on nature. With the help of human beings, these industries operate. That is, there is an extraction of natural resources done by human beings from the nature. Some of the examples of the extractive industries are agriculture, mining, fishing, etc. Now, let us discuss some key features of the extractive industry. Extractive industries are basically the oldest occupation of people around the world. These industries provide raw material to other industries. The role of nature in these industries is quite important, as without there being natural resources, these industries cannot operate. The location of material in these industries keep changing. Say, an area is right now rich in iron ore, but in near future, maybe we could find some other areas which are rich in iron ore. So, these industries' raw material location keeps changing. Once extracted, these materials cannot be replaced because they are natural resources. They are not man-made material. Now, let us talk about the secondary industries. Secondary industries. These industries are engaged in the conversion of raw material provided to them by the primary industries. For example, mining of ore, iron ore and coal is part and parcel of the primary industry, whereas the conversion of raw material, that is the iron ore, into steel is done as in secondary industry. So this is part of the secondary industry. Now secondary industries are further of two types, that is manufacturing industry and construction industry. Let us talk about them in detail. Manufacturing industry. As the name suggests, manufacturing, that is, these industries are concerned with processing and transformation of raw material and semi-finished products into finished products. These industries basically change the shape and form of raw material produced in the genetic and the extractive industries into finished products. They make the products useful to the consumers. So these industries are involved in the form utility of making the products. That is, they convert the raw material into finished products. Say, for example, iron ore extracted through mining in the primary industry is converted into steel as part of the secondary industry under the head of manufacturing industry. So, some of the examples of the manufacturing industries are cement, sugar, textile, fertilizers, etc. Now, manufacturing industries are further of different types. Let us discuss about them. The first one is the analytical industries. These industries are the manufacturing industries in which a basic raw material is broken down into different useful products, such as in the case of an oil refinery. The crude oil, that is the raw oil which is extracted from the nature, is converted into useful products such as kerosene, diesel, petrol, lubricating oil, which are all useful products for the consumers and they can be used for different purposes. The second is the synthetical industries. In this industry, two or more materials are mixed together to form a new product. For example, concrete and gypsum are together mixed to form cement. Next is the processing industry. As the name suggests, processing, that is, the material is processed through various stages. Just in the case of a cloth industry, the cloth passes through different stages such as spinning, weaving, dyeing, bleach, etc. to finally produce a new product named as cloth. Next is the assembling industry. Assembling industries as part of the manufacturing industries are the manufactured components or parts are combined together mechanically or chemically to produce a new product. Say, for example, in the assembling of the TV sets, watches, automobiles, cars, etc. These all industries are the industries in which different components are joined together mechanically and chemically. This was about manufacturing industries in detail. Now, let us discuss the construction industries. As the name suggests, construction. Construction is basically these industries are engaged in the construction of buildings, dams, bridges, roads, etc. These industries utilize the products which were produced in the manufacturing industries such as bricks, cement, steel, etc. These industries are the backbone of the infrastructure of the country. They help in creating the infrastructure for the country. So these industries are helpful in the economic and social development of the country. The key feature which differentiates these construction industries from other industries is that their products are fixed. They cannot move from one place to another. They cannot be physically transferred to the market for sale. Now, let us discuss about the tertiary industries. Tertiary industries are the industries which provide the services to the primary and the secondary industries. These industries facilitate, that is, they help the primary and the secondary industries, such as they help in the form of transportation. So transportation is part of the tertiary industry. Warehouse, this is also part of the tertiary industry. Banking, advertising, packaging, all these industries are part of the tertiary industry. They are also known as the service industries. Now, why do we call them service industries? Because they provide services to the primary and the secondary sector. For example, let us take the case of transportation industry under the head of tertiary industry. The transportation helps in transferring the raw material and the finished goods from the place of production to the final consumption. Say the case of warehouse. The warehouses help the primary and the secondary industries to store the goods for future use. So they are also part of the service industry because they are providing services. They are helping the primary and the secondary industry. Banks, if we talk about banks, they provide loans facilities, cash in hand to the businesses which are running under the category of primary and the secondary industry. Advertising. These industries as part of the tertiary industry help the primary and the secondary industry in advertising about their products in the newspapers, magazines and brochures, etc. Packaging. If we talk about them, they help in packing the products which are produced either in the manufacturing unit or in the other units so that the customer is willing to buy them when he finds them attractive. So, tertiary industries are basically helping a country in developing on an increasing rate. These industries play a major role these days in the world. So, children, this was all about the industries and its type. We have covered today the industry, meaning of industry, what do we mean by the different industries, that is the primary, secondary and tertiary, and their types. Thank you. Have a good day.